Testing. Okay. Eloy Vila, is he here? Well, gee, everyone's ready. So if we start a little early, maybe we'll get through a little early. Anyway, I want to welcome you to our candidate forum. We are very pleased. Bear with us. We are very pleased to present candidates for these offices tonight. I will ask you to hold your applause until all of them are through so that we can have more time for them to talk. And I would like to thank our sponsors. They are very important. Rhodes Enterprises, San Garcia Hospital, IBC Bank, Cross Bank, Rio Bank, Rio Grande Garden, Upper Valley Mail Service, Opportunity, Code RTV, and of course Code RTV is the one that live streams if it works. Is it working, Renee? Okay. And of course, Omo Maldonado is taping, and it will be on our Facebook page. I also want to thank Ernie Williams, Vito Alvarado, Val Peason, and Dr. Vanessa Chan. All of them help us to be able to put on these boards. So you can clap for the sponsors. And now we're very pleased to have Yvonne Ramon here, who is our county election department, and she's going to have a very short bit of information for you.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be with you here tonight, and I just want to give you some updates. First of all, keep in mind that the county is now county-wide poll location. What does that mean? That means that just like you can vote at any poll location during the early voting period, you can do that as well during election day. There will be 75 poll locations on election day, and you can go to any one of them. You are not tied down to your precinct now. So please keep that in mind and make everyone aware. Your canary yellow registration cards went out. If you have not received your new voter registration certificate, contact our office. Let's make sure that all issues are ironed out and worked out before you head out to the poll location. Now, a very important change with Senate Bill 5 is if you are emailing or faxing your application for ballot by mail, now we have to receive the original within 4 business working days at our office. That's new. So if you email or fax that application for ballot by mail, make sure that you receive the original within 4 business days. Voter ID is still intact, so make sure that you let everyone know that in order to cast your ballot, you must present a voter ID. And visit our media sites. We've got our Facebook, we've got Twitter, we've got our website, we've got all the schedules and information for you. So let's make sure to keep in touch, and if you have any questions or you have any concerns, make sure to contact us at our office or come on by. Thank you.
Thank you, all right, and now, I think it's very, very important that we have people who are willing to serve us. And I would like to recognize all candidates for any kind of office. So please stand up and let's clap for them for their willingness to serve. So all candidates, any kind of office. All right, and thank you. And then we have candidates who were candidates and were elected. And I would like to recognize all elected officials for any elected office who are here with us tonight to stand. We want to thank you for serving us. Would you please stand? And as you know, these forums are for contested races only, and we are making a slight exception in that two of the offices do have uncontested opponents that will appear on the fall program, but not now. And we have made an exception, so I would like to introduce, well, actually, I want to introduce Ernie Aliseda, but Ernie Aliseda, the Army, is it the Army? The Army called him and said, you will be here for training this week, and therefore he is not here tonight. But he did send someone to speak, and you have 1 minute to give a pitch for Ernie Aliseda.
Hello, I'm Debbie Crane Aliseda. I'm here today on behalf of my husband, Ernie Aliseda, who is away with military duty. Public service has always been important to Ernie. He and like I, we want to do what we can to improve the community that the both of us have grown up in and raise our 5 children in. Ernie currently serves our nation as a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserves, where he's a military judge. He serves our state as a regent of the University of Texas Systems. He serves our community as a municipal judge and a McAllen judge for Team Court. Ernie feels it is very important to elect someone with both judicial and managerial experience to the lead position of Chief Justice. My husband brings more than 18 years of judicial experience, along with the managerial experience of managing a budget of over $18 billion for UT Systems. For Ernie, the administration of justice is not a political process. He applies the law fairly and impartially. Now more than ever, we need someone like Ernie Aliseda for Chief Justice on the 13th Court of Appeals. He asks for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, running for probate judge.
Dr. Figueroa, thank you. My name is Mark Talbot. I'm a lawyer in McAllen. I've got about 27 years legal experience. I know you're here to hear the other candidates, and so I'm going to be very brief. Most of you, or many of you, probably don't even know what a probate court is or what we do. Those of us who are specialists go in there on a regular basis. One thing to keep in mind, and I'm sure the 2 candidates who are going to talk will mention this to you, there are about 1,400 courts in the state of Texas. There are 18 statutory probate courts in Texas. There are fewer statutory probate courts than there are in Hidalgo County, actual courts in Hidalgo County. Very specialized. I hope that you'll learn something from this process and what we talked about. If you want to know about me, my website is Talbot for Probate. Please go. There's information about the court, and thank you and enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Mark. And now we come to the main portion and the very important person, our moderator, Sam Garcia.
Thank you, Nedra. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sam Garcia. I'll be doing the moderating for tonight's candidate forum. Just a little point of reference. I think if you all saw the schedule, we kind of tried to pack it in, and we have a lot of candidates, a lot of contested races. So if you'll bear with us as we do several transitions, we thought that it would be most important to give the candidates as much exposure as possible, so that's why we perhaps overextended ourselves a little bit with the sheer volume of races, but we wanted to give the public a chance to hear from all the candidates. Now I'm going to introduce our timekeeper, who is with ACT now. That's Mr. Alberto Morales. And candidates, when Albert gives me the times, when it's time, I just say time, and if you can kind of wrap it up. And our panel is made up of three distinguished folks, starting from closest to me with 710 KURV Talk Radio. That would be Davis Rankin. Love the attention. Freelance reporter Dave Hendricks. And Futuro RGB board member and the Texas Border Coalition Immigration, Border and Security Chair, Monica Stewart. Okay, the first race that we're going to deal with tonight is going to be the race for county treasurer. I will introduce the candidates that are present. We have Randy Maldonado. Rowdy, I'm sorry. Lita Dio. And David Salazar Jr. All right, so the format is going to be quite simple. First, each candidate will have 1 minute to deliver an introduction statement about yourselves and your candidacy and what you hope to do in office. And then we will have one panelist, in this case it will be Dave Hendricks, who's going to be giving each candidate the same question. So we'll start in ballot order, and I guess that would be...
Hello, good evening. My name is Raúl Maldonado. I go by the name of Rowdy. I am formerly the City Commissioner of San Juan. I have been married for 17 years, and we have 3 beautiful daughters. I have been involved in public service for 20 years. I have served in my local community and have worked at the city, county, and state levels. I worked in Austin for the Texas General Land Office. I worked for the Hidalgo County Clerk's Office. For fun, I've been the Chief Administrator for the Hidalgo County Democratic Party in charge of day-to-day operations. I was a licensed bail bond agent for over 5 years. Why is that important? The county treasurer sits on the Hidalgo County Bail Bond Board. I have served on numerous boards, committees, and was elected as our City Commissioner of San Juan in 2015. The experience I have obtained has been preparing me for this moment. Elections, I believe, are about timing, and I believe it's my time to shine. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll be hearing from Lita Lee.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Lita Leo, and I come before you with a combination, like Mr. Maldonado here, 20 years of experience in the public service. My career in public service actually began at a very young age, at the age of 8. My mother and father gave me a T-shirt and a sign to hang out at the polls, convincing people to vote for these candidates. And that has continued through my years. Up until my adult age, I've been involved in various social and democratic campaigns. My professional experience involves working at the national level with National League of Cities, the Congressional Standing Caucus Institute. I also have served as a chair of Planning and Zoning Committee at the City of La Jolla. I was also involved in the Democratic Party as a precinct chair. So last I was also with the community, working with the county at the Community Service Agency, helping families in need. So one thing that's been a constant theme, I've been helping people for a very long time. Thank you.
We can hold our applause until the end so we don't extend this out. Now we'll hear from David Salazar Jr.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay. My name is David Salazar, and I'm running for the Hidalgo County Treasurer. I'm from McAllen, born and raised there. I'm a resident here in Edinburgh. I've been married for the last 11 years to my wife, and I have 3 children, my son David and my daughters Sierra and Salem. I am a small business owner. For the last 9 years, I've owned my company, an insurance agency. With time, we have grown from being a startup company to where we now employ employees and run a successful business. I am not a politician. As most of you guys know, this is my first time running in politics. So what I want to do is treat this department like a business of what I know how to do. And this is what I believe this department needs to be treated like. Not a political position, but then again, like a business position. Thank you.
Now we're going to go to the panel question portion, and all these questions are going to come from Dave Hendricks. And Dave, if we could just go Maldonado, Leo, Salazar, just go in that order, and take away.
Great, sounds good. Can you guys hear me? All right. The county treasurer is basically Hidalgo County's in-house banker. The treasurer's office. The treasurer also serves as the county's chief investment officer and handles other smaller tasks. With the advent of electronic banking, though, many counties have abolished the elected treasurer position. Bear County, Oasis County, they've all got rid of it. Why should there be an elected treasurer in Hidalgo?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
You know, and this is, I remember this and working for the county the last few years. I remember that the issue coming up in Hidalgo was going to do away with the county treasurer's office, being that, you know, it works hand in hand with the auditor's office. If you have an auditor's office, do you need a county treasurer's office, or vice versa, depending. We're not there yet. I believe that, you know, the county of Hidalgo is big enough. I believe there is plenty of work for both entities, as in the auditor's office and the treasurer's office. We will look, I guess, in the future. It's out of our control. I believe that's a decision Commissioner's Court, and that, you know, what the people want, and if it's in the best interest of the county. Is it costing the taxpayers money to have our office open? But at the same time, I cannot answer that. All I'm saying is, if I am elected, I will go in there and do what I have to do to run the office as efficient as I can. See what it is that we need to assess to maybe make the office more efficient, and what we can do to save taxpayers a little bit of dollars. Thank you.
Okay, same question. Yes, I have heard that that issue has come up many times from what I understand here in Hidalgo County. And we are one of the largest counties in Texas, and I do believe, as Mr. Maldonado just pointed out, that there is room for both, because one of the duties of the Hidalgo County Treasurer, in addition to making sure all funds are taken care of in accounts payable, accounts receivable, she's also in charge of over 3,000 employees, their payroll. We have a very large budget, it's in the millions, so there is a lot of accountability at stake. And of course, I have every intent, with my experience managing funds, to make sure that office is run with the greatest accountability needed.
The same way as far as, well, I believe it's an important office because when it comes down to counting funds, when you're dealing with over $280 million revolving annually in their budget, we need to have somebody that's accountable to that oversees that budget, at the same time is overseeing that it's being utilized efficiently. And with payroll being at 3,200 employees, and you're paying out $4.6 million every 2 weeks, we do need to have somebody just in charge of that department that's going to look at that and actually see what is the most efficient way that we can save money at the same time to keep this department.
All right, thank you. Okay. and just for those of you that may not know, so we did county treasurer, now we're going to do 275th District Court judge. After that, we're going to do probate court, then chief justice of the 13th Court of Appeals, county court at law number 5, and then the grand finale will be commissioner for precinct 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways. Next transition, Davis will do in 10 minutes. Okay, moving right along. Now, I'd like to present the candidates for 275th District Court Judge. It would be Maria Cuellar and Marla. Sorry guys, Marla Cuellar and Patty Ocaña-Olivas. All right. Nice. Now each candidate will have 1 minute to give an introduction about your candidacy and why you believe you should do it. And we'll start with
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And I want to thank Futuro RGB for the opportunity of having us here this evening. And I also want to thank, of course, God first and foremost for the opportunity to start this race and for continuing and almost getting here to the near end. I want to thank my parents also for being here and all my family and friends who've been extremely supportive during this campaign. When we started this campaign, I've come out to the citizens of Hidalgo County and I have told them about my experience, which is over 20 years experience in the practice of law. The district court handles 6 different types of cases that by statute they are ordered or have subject matter jurisdiction to hear. And I have in my 21 years have had cases, had trials, have experience in each and every one of those different types of cases that come before the district court. And I bring my 21 years experience, my service to my community, also my dedication to my children, to showing them what the path is and what we should do, and that's serve our community. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you for Futuro RGB for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. All right. And now the other candidate, Patty Ocaña-Olivas.
Yes, good evening. My name is Patty Ocaña-Olivas, and I also want to give thanks to Futuro RGB and to the students that are helping as hosts, because this serves as a learning opportunity for you all as well. Children are a passion for me. I am serving currently as school board president of Mission CISD. I've been on the school board for approximately 10 years. I've been serving as a licensed attorney in different areas of law for the last 15 years. I've been married to my husband, Hector Olivares, for 21 years, and we have one daughter, Victoria Olivares, who is also serving her community by being mayor in her school. I also serve as one of the board of directors on the Texas Association of School Boards in Austin. I serve as a municipal court judge for the city of Alton and have done so for 3 years. I feel that my combination of an experience as an attorney, as a mediator, as a municipal court judge with the different areas of law that I have practiced provide me with the experience that I need to be your next judge of the 275th District Court.
All right, now we're going to have Monica Stewart, and it's going to be the same question to both candidates. And Monica, if you want, since we only have 2 candidates, you can do a follow-up. So we will start with Koya, and then go with Diane.
Perfect. Unfortunately, perception is reality many times, or it's considered to be reality in South Texas when it's dealing with impropriety. FBI agents arrested a state district judge last week on federal bribery charges. If elected, what will you do to help restore the public's confidence in the integrity of the judiciary?
Thank you for that question, Monica. It's unfortunate the circumstances that we've had in the last week, but that should not cloud the experience and the diligence that our other district court judges and our county court judges work with every single day. And they have been an inspiration. Like I've indicated, I've practiced law in all those courts for the last 21 years. In those 21 years, I have done thousands of cases in civil law, in criminal law, cases that stem from the day that the client walks into the courtroom until the day that a jury pronounces a sentence or a jury comes back with a verdict. And that's extremely important. In all those years, I think that I have developed a reputation with courts and with my colleagues of a person with integrity, respect, compassion, and impartiality. And it is those values that I bring to the 275th District Court.
Thank you. All right, same question to Olivares.
Yes, serving as a school board member for the last 10 years has obviously made me susceptible to accountability and also to hold myself with a certain standard of integrity. And as being a public servant, it's important to me that my community sees me transparent. So I've had the experience for the last 10 years to be able to prove myself. I'm serving my 3rd term, so I think that with the characteristics that I've brought as a school board member and also as a person in the legal community and the way that I've treated people speaks for itself. With the respect that I've treated people, with the integrity that I have, I feel that each person deserves to be treated with the dignity that we should give one another. So I think that when you have put yourself out there in the public and they've already seen you in this capacity, they know that you will continue to hold that level of accountability and integrity no matter which position it is that you're able to be elected for.
Do you have any follow-up questions from the panel?
Yes. As I understand it, the district courts in Hidalgo County do both criminal and civil matters. Why shouldn't there be courts that deal just with civil and just with criminal? Who has to decide that? What are the arguments? Why shouldn't we do that? That would allow judges who specialize in criminal law to be those judges and civil lawyers to be civil judges.
And that question goes to both candidates.
Yes. I know that the district courts were established through a constitutional amendment, that we now have 458 district courts. Now, there are specialty courts in certain jurisdictions. Like, for example, Hidalgo County does have a district court that deals solely with juvenile cases based on the caseload. For example, the rules of evidence are the same in both civil and district court, civil and criminal cases. So a judge that sits in a district court bench has the capability and also, based on the rules of knowledge, to sit before both cases. Now, for example, I have thousands of cases that I have tried, and also civil and criminal, and in all the courts where I have done work, the judges are extremely competent with reference to the rules of evidence, the rules of procedure. So I do not feel that the judges are less capable because they listen to all types of cases. In this case, the district court's having 6 different cases to the subject matter jurisdiction. Thank you.
Having a court that would be designated to only a certain specific type of law could alleviate the caseload. However, that's not our decision. There has been talk as to whether or not designating one of the district courts as a family court or a civil court and designating others as criminal courts has come up. But that's not our decision to make. That would be a legislative decision. However, since we are a court of general jurisdiction in the 6 different areas of law, in 15 years that I've been practicing with the civil and in criminal and in probate, you can have one person that would be able to oversee these same types of cases. Now, the docket will still move smoothly regardless of whether or not it's just designated as one court or a certain either civil or criminal. It would still move the same way.
Thank you. And I'm going to invite now each candidate to give a 1-minute summation. And I want to apologize to the county treasurer candidates. I skipped over that on my part. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so 1-minute summary.
For the last 21 years, I've dedicated my life to my faith, my family, and my profession. And in those 21 years, as I indicated before, I've done thousands of cases. I'm the only candidate for the 275th District Court that has experience in felony cases that have gone all the way to trial. I'm the only candidate for the 275th District Court that has handled juvenile cases. I am the only candidate for the 275th District Court that has helped my county by being involved in the indigent defense program with more than 300 cases that have started from the day that I interview my client all the way to trial. I treat every client the same, whether they walk in my door and they pay me or I'm appointed to represent them. And it's that same integrity, that same compassion, that same dedication that I offer you as your next judge at the 275th District Court. Thank you for being here this evening. God bless you. God bless your families.
As I stated before, with 15 years of experience, I've also had experience in civil and criminal areas and also with trials and hearings. However, I think that the unique experience that I bring is also my experience as a municipal court judge, where it has exposed me to already see search warrants and how it is that search warrants work and what it is to weigh probable cause and the evidence that's before you. And also, that also gives me the experience in the criminal aspect with allegations that are brought forward as to how to set a bond and what is in the four corners of the doctrine. Now, as far as experience with my clients, in 15 years, I've taken on many hours of pro bono cases. I've also taken on cases that help the indigent through our church and the programs that we have through there. I've served my community as not only a school board member, but a volunteer in different areas that give me the different experience and the different wide angle as to how to be your next judge for the 275th District Court.
Thank you. All right, let's hear it from the candidates. Okay, now while we do the transition, we're going to be moving on to, is that probate or probate? Probate. County taste tester or something. All right. I'm going to introduce our two candidates for probate court. It would be Joanne Garcia and Fidencio Gutierrez Jr.
Good evening. I'm Joanne Garcia. I'm running for the Hidalgo County Probate Court. I'm a Valley native. I was raised all my life in FAR. I attended PSJ North High School where I graduated salutatorian of my class. At the time that I graduated as salutatorian, I was 5 months pregnant. I was a very young mother. Even so, I persevered and I went to the University of Texas Pan American where I graduated with honors with my degree in accounting. After that, even though I had a young child, I was accepted to one of the most prestigious law schools in the nation. I attended the University of Texas at University of Texas School of Law. Thereafter, I came back to our community and I had a position at a very well-known firm, Atlas & Hall, where I practiced exclusively in the estate planning and probate section under the late great Judy Wong. Since then, I have assisted numerous clients in estate planning and probate matters through all aspects as an attorney, doing pro bono work as a private attorney, and also as an attorney at Lyman.
Thank you. All right. And candidates, Fidencio. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Fidencio Jr., and I'm a candidate for the probate
once I got there, the oldest one said that my hair was a mess and that I had to look nice because my opponent was very pretty. So they put some styling gel on me, and the old days was dippity-doo. And then the little one says, I got a curly Q in front like Superman. And I said, well, then let's just leave it there. I had 25 years of judicial experience, 43 years of legal experience as an attorney. The probate court is the most important court in the county. It deals with life and death. Death puts the case into the court, and life is judged by the rulings of the court so that the heirs can go ahead and get what belongs to them. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, Davis, I believe this goes to you, and it's going to be the same question to both candidates, and if you would like to follow up, we'll do that.
All right, the probate court requires knowledge of a very special part of the law. Do you believe that probate judges should be elected or appointed? Why or why not?
Thank you very much. I definitely think that probate judges should be elected. Elected positions are very important for our state courts because it forces candidates to become involved with their community, to understand the issues that a lot of our citizens face. We don't want judges who are out of touch with their community, especially with a lot of the cases that go before the court. You're dealing with vulnerable citizens, citizens that are grieving the loss of loved ones, citizens that are disabled or special needs, adults and children. So I do believe that probate judges should be elected, but they also should have the experience that is necessary to understand the issues that go before the court. And I am your candidate. I have the experience, the knowledge that's necessary to understand and to have compassion for the citizens that will go before the court. It is a balance between rights and dignity, and also protecting the vulnerable citizens.
Same question to
I'm a firm believer in allowing individuals to run for offices rather than be appointed. They ought to come from the people because they answer to the people. The probate court not only handles decedents' wills and non-will cases, but they handle guardianships when individuals, children, or adults can't handle their own affairs. They also handle mental health cases when someone is incapacitated and don't know what they're doing. The judge has to listen to the experts and make a ruling as to what's best for that individual and where to send them and what type of treatment to get them. My years of experience, my 25 years, I've never been reversed. I've had 1 or 2 cases sent back for reform, but not reversed. I think you need to be knowledgeable of the law. I think you have to be willing to work. I pledge to you Monday through Friday, 8-hour days. The dock is going to be heavy. I believe in 10 years there will be 2 probate courts in Hidalgo County. I want to be your probate judge, and I ask for your vote and your support. Thank you.
Okay, well, let's have each candidate do a summation and sort of why.
So the probate court is a court of specialty jurisdictions, like was mentioned. It deals with wills, trusts, guardianships, administrations of the state's inheritance rights, in limited circumstances, wrongful death suits, and mental capacity hearings and mental health commitment hearings. I am your candidate for the probate court. I am the best candidate. My life experiences show that I have a hard work ethic. I persevere. And also, I am up for the task. I'm young and enthusiastic. Experience is not always measured in time. It's not always quantifiable in time. It's also quantifiable in the sort of quality of experience, and that's what the public needs to understand, and the voters should go out and make an informed decision of the candidate that's running for the right reasons, the hard work ethic, the enthusiasm, and the experience and the compassion for the individuals that will be coming before the court in the most vulnerable of times. Thank you.
lot closer to being probated than my opponent. But I'm not that old. I got a knee on anything, and I won't have a rocking chair in that courtroom. The probate court is there for you. When we take an oath of office as a judge, we promise not to receive nor offer any type of monetary benefits. My opponent has placed on Facebook many ads about being endorsed by school boards and city commissions. I got 2 phone calls from individuals saying, Fidencio, we took a picture with her, but we never endorsed her. Endorsements, I've never had endorsements. My only endorsement is from the voters that go to the voting booth. I owe no favors to any group or anything like that. When you talk about endorsements, that is too close to bribery. Somebody giving you something for something in return. That's not the law, and that's not how I judge. Thank you very much.
We will be moving into the fourth of our races, and this is for Chief Justice of the 13th Court of Appeals. The 2 candidates are Joey Contreras and Ray Thomas, and I'm making their way to the stage. Good evening, candidates. You guys kind of know the drill by now. We'll do 1-minute introductions of each candidate, and then a question from the panel, and then a follow-up, if so desired, followed by a 1-minute summary conclusion. So let's go ahead and start with Dory Contreras.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Justice Dory Contreras. It has been my privilege to serve as your justice on the 13th Court of Appeals for 15 years. Because of my experience, I am uniquely qualified to be your next Chief Justice. The institutional knowledge that I have means I can start this job on day 1 without a learning curve and without any disruption to the court, which is very important. The Chief Justice is the leader of the court, the manager of the court. I am known and trusted by the judges and staff. I know the issues facing the court and the direction in which it needs to be led. It doesn't make sense to bring someone in from the outside to take the top position on the court when there's someone on the court ready, willing, and able to move up. 2 things matter in this particular Democratic primary. Who is the most qualified and who can win in November? And the answer to both of those questions is me. Thank you.
And our other candidate is Ray Thomas.
Good evening. I was raised by a single mom from Chihuahua, Mexico, on minimum wage jobs and no child support. She was a community activist who fought for the rights of those who had no voice. Her life dream was never to win the lottery, but to raise 3 children who could go to college and raise successful families. And unfortunately, I lost her at age 57, shortly after she achieved her dream. But Mom instilled in us core values of faith, family, and education. And going through those quickly, as far as family, I've been married to Sandra for over 28 years, and we have 2 children that are living, and we're now empty nesters. I'm almost a 30-year lawyer, board certified, a lifetime of complex cases, many, many appeals at all levels, including a win last year at the United States Supreme Court. I've been blessed with much success. My opponents criticized me for it, but I wasn't born with a silver spoon. I earned every dollar I've made. Now, to whom much is given, much is expected, and so I've served my profession in leadership positions at all levels, local, state, and national. And also, I've also served my community. I've been passionate to serve, and I will serve as your next Chief Justice.
Question, I think Dave, you're going to take this one?
participated in our court's opposition to that bill. And it's not a new bill, it's something that has been filed every legislative session. And the reason I oppose it is because at this time, there are 14 courts of appeals in the state of Texas. We are a 6-member court. To split the district into 3 courts would make it two 2 courts would make it 2 3-member courts, which would really weaken the significance of the court's decision-making, that of course is statewide jurisprudence. And to be quite honest with you, it's a political thing. Because by splitting the valley away from that district, that will enable the upper part of the district, which is predominantly Republican, to elect an all-Republican court. A Democrat could not get elected in that part of the district. And that's really what's behind it all. So the court is running very efficiently with the 20-county district that we have, and there's no reason to split it.
Same question to Mr. Thomas.
Thank you. Yes, I'm completely opposed to the idea of splitting the court, and I have fought for it all the way back to Justice Bob Searden, when ironically the demographics were reversed, and it was the valley, some of the valley judges wanted to split the court because it was dominated by justices from Corpus Christi and up north. And so now that the demographics have changed, and now the folks up north want to split the court. And what they want to do is they want to split the court. The same people that want to split the court are the ones that want to put the border wall just north of the Rio Grande Valley and separate us from the rest of the United States. We are opposed to that because it creates parochial justice. And parochial justice is no justice at all.
Follow-up from Monica.
Both of you are very well-respected individuals in your field. What can one of you do that the other one cannot do?
I assume it is relevant to the position. Well, I have to answer the question in the way that I've stated already. Again, because I already serve on the court, I have unique knowledge and experience that will enable me to hit the ground running on day one. And again, the Chief Justice is more than just the manager of the court and administrator of the budget. The Chief Justice is the representative of the court statewide and nationally in various groups, committees, organizations comprised of Chief Justices. I have relationships with many of them already, and that's something that's important too, because they know me, they trust me. I will be able to just, again, hit the ground running and do the job that is necessary to continue to lead the court.
Same question for Mr. Thomas.
Monica, thank you for that question. You know, my opponent has said that I am neither qualified nor experienced to take this position as Chief Justice, yet the actual Chief Justice of this court, who's been there for 16 years, Roy Valdez, has publicly said on many occasions that both of us are very qualified and experienced to take this role. So to answer your question as to what's the difference between us, I've got good news. In this primary, if I win, you get me and Dory. And if she wins, then you only get one of us, and then you get the other one who's going to look something like Donald Trump or things like Donald Trump. That way you get both of us.
All right. Okay, so now we'll do our 1-minute summary for each candidate. We'll start with Dory.
Thank you. You know, since the beginning of this campaign, I have said there are 2 things that matter, which I said a while ago. Who is the most qualified and who can win in November? Again, the answer to those questions is me. Unfortunately, there has been some non-relevant information placed out there as an attempt to discredit me. One of them you just heard. I've never said that he's not qualified, he's not experienced. I'm saying I'm more qualified because I serve on the court. The experience that he has as a lawyer is definitely good. I was a lawyer when I was first elected to a justice position. The difference is he's running for the Chief Justice position, which has different responsibilities than the justices on the court, additional responsibilities. My unimpeachable record speaks for itself. I have a reputation as an honest, hard-working justice and have handled my position for 15 years with integrity. People look to the Chief Justice to be someone that is honorable and with integrity, and you know you have that in me. So, with me, you know what you're getting. You know the type of justice I am. You know that I am qualified to be the next leader of the court.
Thank you. Class, please. 1 minute summary from Ray Jones.
Going back 30 years, there have been 2 justices on this court, Roy Valdez and Robert Searden. Neither one of those chief justices were justices on the court before they took their position, and they've both been excellent justices. Our country is bitterly divided, and we need leaders who can unite and inspire and give reason for hope. I have a long history of being a uniter, not a divider. And I'm the only candidate with real management experience and budget experience with a $40 million budget for the state bar, a $10 million law firm budget, and a $5.5 million brand new Boys and Girls Club in McAllen. I'm the only candidate who's board certified, the only candidate who's been recognized by judges and my peers to be in the top 5% of my profession. As your Chief Justice, you can be sure that I will apply the law fairly and faithfully and with equal justice for all.
And again, apologies for blowing through these candidates, but I'm just trying to get through all of these. Let's see here. All right. County Court of Law number 5. Armando Cantu Jr., Armando McPean. And let's go ahead and start with Armando Cantu Jr. on your 1-minute introduction.
Before I start, I want to recognize a very special supporter. Mom, are you here? Ladies and gentlemen, 88 years old and my biggest supporter. My name is Armando Cantu Jr. I have been the judge of Court number 5 since its creation in 2003. Well, created in 2002, opened its doors in 2003. I have been the only judge in Court 5. We are busy. All of the county courts at law here in Hidalgo County are extremely busy. We're underrepresented. There are 7 courts. We need probably another 2 or 3 just to be able to keep up with the flow. Typically, county courts at law dispose between 37 and 3,800 cases per year, almost 4,000. We don't have a lot of time to slack off. We're busy. I started, let me go back.
Sorry. Yeah, Mr.
Thank you. Good evening. Let me begin by saying that my name is Armando Marroquin. I'm running for County Court at Law number 5. With over 15 years of experience as a lawyer, I've been very blessed to have practiced in federal and state courts throughout the state. I currently serve as a municipal judge in the city of Edcouch. I also represent the cities of Benitez as well as Sullivan City. I've tried cases from parking tickets all the way up to non-death capital murders. I've tried family cases as well as car wreck cases. As far as experience goes, I feel that I've got a vast collection of memories from so many cases that I've been involved with. That all being said, what I'd like to ask for you is to consider something. As Judge Cantu's already stated, he's been the only judge who sat on that court. And I do appreciate his service. But what I'm asking everybody here to do is to go out and vote for Armando Marroquin so that we can have a positive change to that court. Thank you.
Panel question, and this will fall to Dave again, and it will be the same question for both candidates, and then if anybody else on the panel wants to follow up, we'll do that. Go ahead, Dave.
how do you handle that perception of a conflict of interest when they appear before you in court?
I do accept contributions from attorneys, always check for them. I've got to be upfront, and I think most attorneys that have contributed to my campaign know you don't get anything but hard work in return for your donation. They know that I'm there Monday through Friday. They know that I'm busy. It's almost established. Judges run from campaign money contributed by attorneys that like the job that they're doing. The bulk of my contributions have been from members of the bar. And again, they get nothing in return other than a hard-working judge that's willing to give them a level playing field. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question to Mr. Marroquin.
Thank you. As Judge Cantú stated, that is the norm. The norm here in Hidalgo County is attorneys give judges money, and that's how they fund their campaigns. Maybe it's because I'm a new guy. I really haven't gotten many campaign contributions from attorneys. The majority of my campaign contributions have been from family and friends. The majority of the money that I spent on this campaign has been my own money. And what I will tell you is I've been outspent 2-to-1. The majority of the campaign contributions that my opponent has received, probably 99.5%, have been from lawyers. And I ask you, based off an earlier question that was posed, there is a perception of corruption that we have in this county. And what I would ask each one of you to go back and do is when you go to that voting booth, just think about that. Do you want people who are taking money from lawyers who potentially might appear in front of those judges, or do you want somebody who spends his own money to get into this position? Thank you.
Earlier you said that the court needs a fresh start. Why do you believe that the court needs a fresh start with the judge that's been there since 2002?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. So, having practiced for close to 15 years here in this county and in other counties, one of the things that I recognize here in Hidalgo County, especially in County Court number 5, is that once you've been somewhere for a while and you've never been challenged, things start to get stagnant. Your cases don't move the way they used to. You don't take the bench at 8 o'clock like you're supposed to. Yet you have people waiting in the courtroom for an hour and a half to 2 hours before the judge takes the bench. When your cases don't move, when you don't have trials, what that does is that costs the taxpayers of this county, it costs you money, or it costs us money. And so most people on the campaign trail have told me, I really don't care who the judge for County Court at Law number 5 is because I don't go to court. It doesn't affect me. And what I will tell every single one of you who's out there, it affects every single one of you because you pay taxes. And if you pay taxes, that's what pays for these courts. So to answer your question, I think we need efficiency, we need productivity, and most essentially, we need empathy for the people at the time. Thank you.
Are you alluding that the court is not getting that right now at this time?
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to allude, I'm being very direct.
Thank you. I don't know where my opponent gets his information. I know that he's not seen at the courthouse very often. If people knew what goes on in a daily schedule of a judge, they would understand. I'm usually at the courthouse by about 8:30. I usually have attorneys that want to meet with me. I will not meet with an attorney without opposing counsel being present. The 8:30 hour to about 9:30 has been very productive for Court 5. I will visit with attorneys and oftentimes get their cases settled just by sitting down with them and talking to them and making them understand that there is a way to get the case resolved without going to trial. Sometimes it's difficult cases involving little children. Sometimes it's cases involving complex issues. I will meet with counsel, not by themselves, always with the opposing counsel, and hammer cases out before I get on the bench. Thank you.
Sounds good for you?
Yeah. All right, now we'll go to our 1 minute summaries from each candidate, and we will start going down the order, and we'll go with Judge Matthew.
My turn.
Your turn. 1 minute summary.
As I started saying, we handle about 3,500 to 3,800 cases a year. The bulk of my caseload is from the criminal docket. I take special interest in my young offenders. One of the things that I will do, even though it takes a little more time and makes other attorneys wait, I will talk to the young offender and find out if in fact they have finished school. If they haven't, I make it a condition of their probation to go back to school or complete a GED. By one account, one estimate from a probation officer, in the 15 years that I've been on the bench, I have successfully had close to 4,000 young people finish their school or get a GED because of my court order. I give back to the community in that fashion. Additionally, I will go and visit schools, talk to young children about drugs and things that they shouldn't be doing. I will visit college level classes and encourage the kids or the young people to keep going.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I just want to reiterate, I'm running on a real simple message. Positive change in County Court of Law number 5. Now everybody just heard Judge Cantu talk about how he's able to resolve cases in chambers. And I take issue with that. And the reason I take issue with that is for a simple reason. People go to court for justice. You get justice in the courtroom, not in the judge's chambers. Most importantly, what I want to impart upon everybody before we end this debate is this. If you're looking for someone who's there, who will work, as was stated earlier, from 8 to 5, then I say vote for me. If you want somebody who gets there at 8:30, who will meet with attorneys in chambers for a while and then take the bench at 10, then maybe you're better off going with Judge Cantu. Thank you.
Okay, let's see what we got with our candidates. Thank you. Thank you, candidates. All right, now the final race of the evening that we're going to be dealing with, and we're going to dedicate a little more time to it, is for Hidalgo County Commissioner Precinct 4, and our two candidates are Joseph Palacios and Ella Douglas. Let's hold the applause till the end. I know each candidate has their supporters, and we'll kind of do that, but let's please hold our applause till the end. This particular round, we've dedicated a little more time to it, so each candidate will get a 1 minute introduction, and then the panel will ask, how many questions are we doing this? At least 3 questions per candidate. And then we will come back and do the summary, and everybody go home and all right. Let's start with our candidates. And what's ballot order? Who's up first? Okay. 1 minute introduction.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for Futuro RGB for hosting this debate. Glad to be here. First of all, I'm Joseph Palacios. I'm a husband and a father to 4. I have 3 daughters and a son. I'm a man of faith, a veteran from the U.S. Army. I've been a public servant for 27 years in municipal, state, and county government. as a grant writer, a director, a project manager, and a chief of staff. I've been your county commissioner for 7 years, and I've served in the capacity as a vice chairman for the MPO, president to the South Texas Judges and Commissioners Association, chairman to the Hidalgo Willis Finance Corporation, board member of the Border Trade Alliance, and board member of the urban counties, representing all of Hidalgo County. My mission is for re-election. I want to serve our constituency for the next 4 years. One of the most monumental things we did is reduce the tax rate first time in 19 years. Thank you.
Eli Torres.
Good evening, everyone. I am Eli Torres, and I would like to thank you for being here tonight, as well as those who are viewing this forum from home. I'd also like to thank Futuro RGB for having us here tonight and give us an opportunity to share our views and our intentions. I am your candidate for Precinct 4 County Commissioner. I believe you deserve a servant leader who is transparent. You deserve a servant leader who is committed to working for you. You also deserve a servant leader who can collaborate with cities, state, and federal agencies, neighboring counties, fellow commissioners, and most importantly, with you, the constituents. I intend to serve you with the same passion, commitment, honesty, and transparency that I have served my constituents as a trustee of the Edinburgh School District. I'm a businesswoman, a former educator, a lifelong learner, a concerned taxpayer, and most importantly, a woman of my word. I'm asking you for an opportunity to deliver good and honest public service as your Precinct 4 Commissioner.
Time. All right, and let's open it up to the panel for questions, and we'll start with Monica, and we'll just kind of do a rotation, and first question will go to Commissioner Palacios.
Commissioner, when defining border security, if you had the opportunity to sit down with President Trump, what would you tell him about the wall and levee program in Hidalgo County?
Well, I don't believe in the wall, the physical wall. I know they built the current wall, and there's gaps in the system. I do believe in border security. I think that what we need to do is invest more in more human capital to assure that we can contain the issue. Now, with all the stats that are out right now, obviously we have crime rate reduction happening in most of our cities. We've done a fairly good job containing a lot of that. But most and foremost, I don't believe that we need to waste dollars in building a wall. I think that we need to be a lot more innovative. Virtual walls are another ways of controlling our border checks. And I think that they need to roll up their sleeves and find better solutions than just building a wall.
Any follow-up?
Specifically on dealing with the levee project, considering that that was one of the solutions that we were able to get, we were going to have to build the levee to begin with. And since the federal government did reimburse the county at this point on dealing with the levee, I guess my question is that if that solution were to be one of the solutions that President Trump would agree to, would you agree to it or not?
Well, flood control is one of the most dominant issues we're going to deal with. As long as we're looking at drainage infrastructure for the preservation of life and property to our residents, then that's a better solution than just a physical wall. Hidalgo County obviously partnered in the past. I was not on the board when that went through, but it is a way that we can take care of a local problem using federal resources for the benefit of our local resident.
All right, the next question is going to be from Dave to Eli Torres.
All right, a little better. Commissioner Palacios recently posted on Facebook that, quote, now is the time to build a new courthouse without impacting our tax base. And as you probably know, the county is working on a plan to build a new county courthouse, cost about $150 million. That's the estimate. Do you think Hidalgo County needs a new courthouse? And if so, should voters be allowed to weigh in on the plan?
Absolutely. I do believe that we do need a new courthouse. Our courthouse is basically outgrown. We are currently renting places and leasing offices that we're paying for with tax dollars. And so instead of spending them on leases and so forth, we do need a new courthouse. Our taxpayers should be very much involved in this. And it really is bothersome when we still don't have a price on that courthouse. After 5 years of planning and this being on the table, we're still being told, as my opponent was quoted in the monitor that we still didn't quite have a price tag. And so, to not have a price tag and for this to have been on the table for 5 years is really bothersome to me as a taxpayer, and I want to have a say in it, and I want to connect with people to also have a say on this courthouse.
Any follow-up?
Yes, do you believe that voters should be able to weigh in on it, or is this something that commissioners' court should be?
I do believe that voters should have a weigh in on it because after all, they're the ones paying for it.
Commissioner Palacios, do you feel that voters should weigh in on it at some point?
At some point, yes. I don't think the dispute is the need for a courthouse. However, for the first time in Hidalgo County history, we're able to at least address a lot of our capital improvement plans while reducing the tax rate. I was elected 4 years ago, as well as 4 prior years. I've been in office for 7 years, and we've been fiscally sound. We've been promoting effective efficiencies. We've been addressing a lot of the capital improvement plans, such as courthouse and infrastructure. And when you can offer a tax rate reduction as well as addressing the courthouse needs, I think it really sends a strong message that we're fiscally sound and we're doing what's in the best interest of our taxpayer. And I do like the challenge. We were very instrumental in acquiring $20 million of non-local funds for the drainage infrastructure. The reason there's been a delay is because of the lack of infrastructure in the downtown Edinburgh area.
Right. Okay, next question would be from David Schranking. So that original question was for Ellie, now we'll go back to Palacios.
Yes. This next question is a continuation of what we've been talking about with the courthouse. The initial estimate for a courthouse was, memory serves, almost $200 million. A little bit south of that. It was a design brought forth by a local firm. The court hired another firm from Houston to take another look at it, and they brought in a much lower cost. Now the judge is saying it'll be about $150 million. Given that there's no decision made on what a new courthouse would be, as Ms. Torres was saying, how can the public have confidence that in a price figure, when and if it's ever, well, it would be, when it's arrived at?
Who's that question to? Good. It was actually, I think it's to Joseph.
All right. The current state of the courthouse project, we have it in the hands of our project manager. It's the price tag for the courthouse is ambiguous in nature because we're still currently addressing infrastructure. Being the fact that we acquired $20 million takes about $12 million of off-site utility costs to the courthouse. Second to that, we are value engineering and we're basically looking at need versus wants. So we look forward to addressing the overall cost of the courthouse. We are months away from securing bids with our project manager to get a good assessment of what we believe the cost is going to be. As you know, every year cost of construction continues to rise. We believe at the end of the day the 150 includes FF&E. We believe that we're going to be closest to about $112 to $120 million on brick and mortar for the courthouse.
Any follow-up? Yes. Okay. Monica, your question, and that will be for Alan.
What is the most serious problem that the county faces and what solutions do you bring to the table?
Actually, there are several challenges facing Hidalgo County in Precinct 4, and that includes drainage, that includes a controversy in the courthouse, that includes our road conditions and the maintenance of our road conditions, poor lighting, and of course the controversy of selected pay raises within the county. But for me, what sits in with me the most is drainage. Drainage has been an issue in Precinct 4 for many, many decades, and it remains an issue. And let's get real here, guys. We dodged the bullet with Harvey, and we're not ready. We're not ready. Back when Hurricane Alice came through here as a Hurricane 2, in comparison to Harvey, it was a 4, we had over 200 colonias and subdivisions that were flooded in Precinct 4 alone. Over half, I'm sorry, in the county, over half of them were in Precinct 4. To me, we're not ready. We're not ready with our drainage. McAllen, 2nd Street, and Atlanta, Downtown Denver still experiences flooding, and that's a big issue for me.
Any follow-up?
Yes. Judge, I'd like for you to follow up on that. You heard what your opponent said about the drainage. How do you respond about our readiness for a hurricane?
We are better than we've ever been before. We built 60 infrastructure drainage projects in the last couple of years, since 2015, since we were hit with rains. Every old subdivision that had not, lack of drainage infrastructure now has that infrastructure. On the mobility side, we are building infrastructure roads. We've had our banner year this year, 30 road miles worth of roadway paved in our precinct. And we've been able to do all of that with a very mere reduction in the use of county funds. We are the only income-producing precinct, which we're reinvesting a lot of those funds through a lot of our federal and state projects into infrastructure. We are building infrastructure day in and day out. We have a 7-day operation. And I challenge my opponent. She has no construction experience. She has no project management experience. This commissioner's seat and the role of the county commissioner is 80% infrastructure, 20% everything else. We build infrastructure every single day. We're the only full construction, drainage, and roadway infrastructure departments in all of Hidalgo County.
Time. Question will be from Dave Enders.
Commissioner Palacios, to follow up on the roads, the Torres campaign posted a video about 2 weeks ago or so that accused Precinct 4 of putting a little asphalt on some very worn out roads to make them look better. What the Torres campaign called, quote, just another cheap, quick cosmetic fix. Her campaign suggested voters should elect a commissioner who wants to do things the right way. How do you respond to that?
She needs to get educated with the issue. That is why we fully reconstructed more than 30 miles of roadway. We have seen projects throughout our district that we have solved and we have constructed. We didn't just look at filling potholes. That's a quick response to a safe road. So the general public immediately has a safe road. What we looked at are the underlying issues to that road, which is water, poor drainage. We fixed all of those projects, all of the drainage, the lack of drainage in those areas that have been there for decades. Solved those. Those are the 60 projects that we did in this last 2 years. And we fixed those 30 miles of roadway. You can travel anywhere and find a pothole. You can travel down to McAllen and in an urban road and still find potholes. The one issue that I've solved, and I know construction, I know this business, and my guys, and I want to thank 120 of my workers who work 7 days a week, shift work, fixing our infrastructure to assure that our roads are safe for our general public.
Follow.
Mrs. Torres, would you like to respond to that?
Yes, sir. I sure would. As I've traveled down those roads that have cosmetic paving placed upon them, I also noticed that the ditches on the side were not touched. If you're going to be out there investing in paving and giving it a cosmetic layover, then let's do the right thing first. And let's make sure that there's ditches and there's drainage that comes along with those roadways so that when water falls on them and it collects its water, it has a place to run and is not destroying the street as it has been seen in the past. Thank you.
Next question to Davis, and that will be for Torres.
Ms. Torres, when you announced the monitor quoted you saying this, I like to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves and even when they don't, about the recent change in politics. I want to capitalize on that. Is there some overriding reason that you think Mr. Palacios should be defeated, or are you just taking advantage of an opportunity?
Actually, I'll tell you what, it is the energy that I receive from the constituents of this county, this precinct. I have been very heavily involved in the last 5 campaigns. I have been walking the streets of Precinct 4. I have been connecting with the constituents of Precinct 4. I have been collecting and listening to their concerns, collecting their concerns and connecting with them. And they spoke and they said they want to change. They want change in Precinct 4 too. And that will be decided on March 6th of this year. Thank you.
Please. Any follow-up? Okay. This is going to be our last round of questions, and then be Monica and to Joseph Palacios.
Commissioner, unfortunately, right now, South Texas is definitely the topic of media and laws and regulations coming out of Washington. Currently, we have bills coming up on dealing with sanctuary cities. None of our counties nor our cities consider them sanctuary cities because they do work with the federal government. But some of those bills that are coming out currently today have wording in it that could definitely jeopardize some of the fundings that we depend on most in our county, including security, including CDBG fundings, including some of the core monies that we depend on. What would you tell Washington today if you had that opportunity about DACA and about sanctuary cities?
Well, it's what I've been saying. I am a board member to urban counties, which represent the largest counties in Texas, work on legislative matters. I've been in D.C. Throughout my 7 years, as well as I've been in the state capital several times. We recently adopted a resolution for DACA. We need our federal partners not to harm the need, our constituency. We need to continue working on state and federal levels on these core issues to assure at the end of the day we take advantage of the much needed resources that we have. We have been able to garner so many state and federal funds in the tune of about $400 million of non-local funds for not just infrastructure, but border security and everything that really is a need in South Texas. We're going to continue. I'm going to continue to be the voice of the people, both on the state and federal side. And I think that that's going to be the recipe for success for us. We have to ensure that we do everything and that we have the most minimal effect on our taxpayer, ad valorem tax.
Time.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask you on dealing with DACA and sanctuary cities. If you had the opportunity to talk to Washington and explain the predicament, knowing the consequences that we might face, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that I advocate for DACA. I was an educator. I had many students whose dreams were built with my assistance. As far as DACA is concerned in Sanctuary City, we need to continue to be a safe haven for our people that come here, because you know what? I had a grandparent that would have fallen into that same category years ago. I do support that, and I would not mind traveling to Washington, D.C. and actually being a voice for people that are in that circumstance.
Next question, Dave, that'll go to Ellie Cook.
Mrs. Torres, Hidalgo County is the largest county in Texas that doesn't have a health care or a hospital district. Dallas County, Harris County, Bexar County, El Paso County, Nueces County, they all have either a health care or a hospital district that collects property tax money and spends that money on health care for the poor and sometimes also to support a public medical institution. If Hidalgo County does not create a health care district, how would you propose paying for those things?
Well, actually, I tell you what, when it comes to healthcare, we have to be very cognizant of the money that we do set aside. I think one of the reasons that our healthcare cost is so high is because people who cannot afford healthcare are actually having to take a day off of work to utilize our county-provided healthcare clinics. If you look at the healthcare clinic hours, they are 8 to 5. Someone who is already in a predicament where they're having to access indigent healthcare is probably someone that is on minimum wage, someone that is working on an hourly basis and cannot make ends meet. For us to require them to take a day off of work to go and gain access to healthcare is a day loss of wages. We should be making our healthcare clinics available to them so that they, at the hours that is convenient for them, not at the hours that are convenient for us, so that they can perhaps stop using the emergency room as their night clinic. That's what drives our healthcare costs up.
Valid question.
Commissioner Palacios, the same question.
I love that question. First and foremost, our obligation is to provide indigent health care. Currently, we are, based on the 1115 waiver program that we are surpassing revenues based on expenses. In regards to the hospital district, I don't believe we're in that state. I don't advocate new taxes. There's a better resolution. It's one of the things that I was meeting with Valley Interfaith yesterday on. We minimize our allocation about $6 to $7 million to the indigent health care program because of the benefit of 1115 waiver. What I believe is that we need to start having more of an investment to public health, with not just our public health department, but all of our safety net hospitals. And that's going to go beyond indigent healthcare. It's going to go to the uninsured, the underinsured, which is a bigger issue. So I don't want to just look at our fiduciary responsibility. I want to look at our civic responsibility to those that are beyond that. And the way we're going to do that is to increase the federal poverty level, as well as fund with additional funding, which we're able to do to our safety net clinics, and focus on preventative care. And that's going to keep them out of the hospitals.
Next question, Davis, and that question goes to Joseph.
The city of McAllen, well, I was in Edinburgh now, but we are future RGV. City of McAllen has about 140,000 residents and pays a little more than 40% of Hidalgo County's taxes, yet it does not have a commissioner who looks to it principally for election. You guys are from Edinburgh, and Mr. Cantu, Eddie Cantu looks to far as his best. Coming up in 2020, we'll have a census, then you'll redistrict. What can you do, what will you do to carve out a commissioner's seat for McAllen and get them out of your hair?
Well, I was here when the last redistricting happened. Back before, the city of McAllen had 3 commissioners. We now have 2. With all the urban development and population, we believe that we're getting closer and closer to McAllen will have a chance to have a commissioner coming from that city. I also was a taxpayer for the city of McAllen for several years before moving back to Edinburgh. And one of the things that we can continue to do is build partnerships. City of McAllen has been a partner to Hidalgo County Precinct 4 directly on infrastructure. We are their partners on the railroad expansion and the much recent annex of the West Lagos development, and we work hand in hand together. And what we need to do is just look beyond the borders, look beyond the city limits lines, and represent all of our district equally so. And I've done that for 7 years, and I'm going to continue to do that.
Another question?
You have an opinion, Ms. Norris?
Yes, actually, I feel that McAllen has not been connected with. There has been a commissioner in Precinct 4 that has lacked connected with McAllen for them to feel that way. I have very intentionally put in headquarters in McAllen because I want the message to McAllen to be that I will be a commissioner of not just Edinburgh, but Edinburgh, La Blanca, McAllen, all those community areas, the San Carlos and so forth. I will be a commissioner that will connect with them, and they will not have to come out and want to seek out a different commissioner or someone that redistricting so they can get some representation. I will be the representation by connecting to them and hearing from them at all times.
All right. Okay. Now we're at the portion where we will do our candidate summaries, and we will go ahead and start with Ellie Torres. Go ahead and do your summary, and then we'll go to Joseph.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have shared with you my views, my intentions, and my skills. Some of my experiences also that I would like to share with you are that I am a trustee of the Edinburgh School District. I have overseen over $350 million in budget. Of course, this has not been all by myself. This has been with other trustees. I have overseen the management of $22 million in construction. And we have, as a school district, afforded to give our staff members a pay raise for the last 3 years. We have also been able to raise our fund balance annually, and we have received superior achievement ratings from TEA for our financial responsibility. All this, ladies and gentlemen, without raising taxes. As a resident of Hidalgo County for over 50 years, I have experience as a resident in the rural communities. The flooding that has taken place, I remember being a child and being carried by my father through the flooding that occurred out in our rural homes. I have lived in 46 out of my 50 years in what's considered rural community.
Time.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I look for 4 more years. I look for your support to continue building on the progress that we've built today. We've expanded services and the quality of our service. We advanced infrastructure every day, improved the quality of life. We've been innovative with our emergency service facilities that we built. We built one and we're looking at a second one. We personally secured millions of dollars in grant funding, and we continue to work representing taxpayers. And the one thing that we continue to do, is become effective, efficient, and very mindful. My opposing candidate runs on giving power back to people. It's not about power. It's about service to our residents. And I'm the only commissioner that has reduced the tax rate for the first time in 19 years. We're going to continue doing by comprehensive budget reform and continue to reduce the tax rate. And that's how we're going to help all taxpayers. And that's what I'm going to do. Thank you.